Good morning, students. In the last class, we had derived an expression for radius of nth orbit of hydrogen atom. We had derived an expression Rn equals to epsilon 0 n square h square divided by pi m e square. Assuming this expression of radius, we shall now derive an expression for energy of electron in the nth orbit of hydrogen atom. So this derivation is very important from your exam point of view. It is frequently asked in your annual exam for 5 marks. So let us derive that. So we have a figure for the circular motion of the electron. We have an electron of charge E and mass m revolving around the nucleus of hydrogen atom in the nth circular orbit of radius Rn with a velocity Vn. The direction of the velocity is tangential to the circle at any point. Let us find out charge of the hydrogen nucleus. The hydrogen nucleus contains only one proton. Charge of one proton is E. Therefore, charge of the hydrogen nucleus is E. So now you know that for any circular motion, a centripetal force is required. That is a force that acts towards the center of the circular path. So for the circular motion of the electron also, a centripetal force is required. So what provides the centripetal force here? So here the centripetal force is provided by the electrostatic force of attraction between the positive nucleus and the negative electron. So we can very easily equate the electrostatic force is equals to the centripetal force. So let us find the value of electrostatic force by using Coulomb's law. So here we are having two charges E and E separated by a distance Rn. So according to Coulomb's law, the electrostatic force is given as the constant 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 product of the charges E into E, that is E square, divided by the square of the distance, that is Rn square. This is equals to the centripetal force. In general, the centripetal force is mv square upon r. In this case, it will be mvn square divided by Rn. Let us simplify the equation. 1 Rn gets cancelled from both sides. So you are left with mvn square is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn. So let us call this as equation 1. So you got the value of mvn square. Now we shall find out the kinetic energy of the electron. So in general, kinetic energy is given as half mv square. So here also the kinetic energy K of the electron is given as half mvn square. So let us put the value of mvn square from equation 1. So kinetic energy K is equals to half as it is. Then mvn square is nothing but 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn. So that is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn into half. So this is your kinetic energy. Then the electron also possesses potential energy because it is in the electrostatic field of the nucleus. And in the second chapter we have learned that the electrostatic potential energy is given as the constant 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 product of the charges along with the sign divided by the distance. So what are the charges here? Plus E and minus E separated by a distance Rn. So it will be plus E into minus E divided by Rn. So if you multiply plus E and minus E, it will be minus E square. I shall write minus sign at the start. Minus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn. So this is an expression for potential energy. Now we shall find out total energy of the electron. Total energy of the electron En is the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. So it is equals to K plus U. So let us put the value of K and U here. What is the value of K? It is half 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn plus U. U is negative, so you have a negative sign here. Minus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn. So what is common between the two terms? This bracketed quantity is common. Let us take it outside. So 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn outside. What remains in the first bracket? Plus half, and in the second bracket you are left with minus 1. So plus half and minus 1. So this term as it is, no change. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn. What is the value of half minus 1? It is minus half. So I have written down here minus half. Let us multiply minus half at the start. So it will become minus sign. 4 into 2 becomes 8. So minus sign 1 upon 8 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn. Now we shall substitute the value of Rn which we have derived in the previous session. So put this value of Rn and simplify. So this will be 1 minus 1 upon 8 pi epsilon 0 as it is, E square as it is. For Rn, I have written down the value as epsilon 0 n square h square divided by pi m e square. Let us simplify this. This pi m e square will come to the numerator. So you will have it as minus 1 upon 8 pi epsilon 0 as it is. So e square into pi m e square. So e square into pi m e square divided by epsilon 0 n square h square. Let us simplify that equation. So pi and pi get cancelled. So you are left with minus sign 1 upon 8. In the denominator it will be epsilon 0 into epsilon 0 means epsilon 0 square n square h square, and numerator is m e square into e square, that is m e fourth. So you got a final expression for energy of the electron in the nth orbit. What is that expression? En equals to, it is with a negative sign, minus sign, m e raised to 4 divided by 8 epsilon 0 square n square h square. So this is the final expression. Let us draw some conclusions from this final expression. First thing, it is with a negative sign. So what does the negative sign indicate? The negative sign indicates that the electron is bound to the nucleus with the electrostatic attraction. And if you want to remove the electron from the atom, you have to supply energy to the electron. So that is why it is with the negative sign. Then you will observe that except n, all other terms are constant. M, E, epsilon 0, h, all are constant. Put the values of the constants and simplify. The value comes out to be minus 13.6 upon n square electron volt. So from this equation, it's very clear that En is proportional to minus 1 upon n square. Let us try to understand what is the meaning of this. So let us put some values of n. That is, we shall, if I put n equal to 1, I will get the energy of the first orbit, E1. So E1 will be equal to, so minus 13.6 upon 1 square. That will be nothing but minus 13.6 electron volt. Let us go to the second orbit, E2. Put n equal to 2. So it will become E2 is equals to minus 13.6 upon 2 square, that is 4. And if you divide that, you will get minus 3.4 electron volt. Let us go to the third orbit. Let us put n equal to 3. So if I put n equal to 3 here, I will get the energy of the third orbit. So E3 will be equal to minus sign 13.6 upon 3 square. And if you simplify, it comes out to be minus 1.5 electron volt. So observe these values carefully. What do you find here? As the quantum number goes on increasing, that is, as you go to the outer orbits, what happens to the energy? The energy increases because minus 3.4 is greater than minus 13.6. Minus 1.5 is greater than minus 3.4. So as you go to the outer orbits, the energy goes on increasing. So the energy increases because it is with a negative sign. So we can conclude like this. That is, electrons revolving in the outer orbits have more energy compared to the electrons revolving in the inner orbits. So this is about the derivation for energy of an electron in the nth orbit of hydrogen atom. So let us revise what we have done just now. we have seen that for the circular motion of the electron, electrostatic force is equals to centripetal force. We have substituted values of both the forces and we got the value of mvn square. Then the electron possesses kinetic energy because of its orbital motion. It also possesses potential energy because it is in the electrostatic field of the nucleus. So we have written down the expression for kinetic energy as half mvn square. For mvn square we have substituted the value from equation 1 and we got an expression for kinetic energy. Then the electrostatic potential energy is given as the constant 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 product of the charges along with the sign divided by the distance. So we got an expression for potential energy. Then the total energy of the electron is sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. Put the values of k and u and simplify. You will get an expression for total energy En is equals to minus 1 upon 8 pi epsilon 0 E square upon Rn. Then we have assumed the expression for Rn as epsilon 0 n square h square upon pi m E square. Put the value of Rn and simplify. You will get the final expression for the energy En equals to minus m e raised to 4 divided by 8 epsilon 0 square n square h square. First thing we find that it is with a negative sign. It shows that the electron is bound to the nucleus with electrostatic attraction, and if you want to remove the electron from the atom, energy should be supplied to it. Also we find that except n all other terms are constant, and if you put the values of the constant you get a simplified formula En equals to minus 13.6 upon n square electron volt. This clearly shows that En is proportional to minus 1 upon n square. That is, we find that as the quantum number increases, the energy also increases because there is a negative sign. Or else we conclude that electrons revolving in the outer orbits have more energy compared to the electrons revolving in the inner orbit. So this is all about the derivation for total energy of an electron in the nth orbit of hydrogen atom, assuming the expression for radius of the orbit. Just now we have derived an expression for energy of an electron in the nth orbit of hydrogen atom. We have derived the expression En equals to minus m e raised to 4 8 epsilon 0 square n square h square. Now you assuming the expression for energy of the electron in the nth orbit, we shall now derive an expression for wavelength of radiation emitted when an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to a lower energy orbit. For this, we shall be using Bohr's third postulate. So let us recall the third postulate. According to Bohr's third postulate, we had seen that when an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to a lower energy orbit, the difference of energy between the two orbits is given out in the form of electromagnetic radiation. Therefore, a photon is emitted with energy h nu equal to ER minus EF, where ER is the energy of the initial state of the electron and EF is the energy of the final state of the electron, where here ER is greater than EF. Now let us consider two orbits around the nucleus of hydrogen atom. Inner orbit of quantum number n1 and energy En1. Outer orbit of quantum number n2 and energy En2. Just now we had seen that outer orbits have more energy than the inner orbits. Therefore, here n2 is greater than n1. Therefore, En2 is greater than En1. Now, let us suppose that an electron makes a transition from the outer orbit to the inner orbit. So, when an electron makes a transition from higher energy state to the lower energy state, electromagnetic radiation is emitted out and the energy of the emitted photon is given as h nu equal to En2 minus En1. Now to find the values of En2 and En1, we shall make use of this expression of En. In this expression, put n equals to n1. You will get En1. So En1 will be equal to minus m e raised to 4 as it is, 8 epsilon 0 square as it is. N is replaced by n1. So it will be n1 square into h square. We can also find the value of En2. Put n equals to n2. So what will be the value of En2? En2 will be nothing but minus m e raised to 4 as it is, 8 epsilon 0 square as it is. N is replaced by n2, so it will be n2 square into h square. Let us put these values of En1 and En2 in this equation. So En2 comes with a negative sign. So I have written that as it is, minus m e raised to 4, 8 epsilon 0 square, n2 square, h square. Then minus En1. Minus En1. This is already with a negative sign. So minus of minus will become plus. So you will have a plus sign here. Then m e raised to 4, 8 epsilon 0 square, n1 square, h square. Let us simplify the two equations. We shall find out what is common in the two terms. So you will find that common in the two terms is m e raised to 4, 8 epsilon 0 square, h square. Then what remains in the bracket? We shall take the positive term first. Here 1 upon n1 square remains with plus sign, and here 1 upon n2 square remains with minus sign. So minus 1 upon n2 square. Then let us substitute for nu. You know that velocity of the photon c is the product of frequency and wavelength. That is, c is equals to nu lambda. From this relation, what is the value of nu? Nu is equals to c upon lambda. So for nu, I have substituted as c upon lambda. So here this side I have hc upon lambda, and the right hand side as it is, there is no change. Now let us take c and h on the other side. They will come to the denominator. So I will get the value of 1 upon lambda. So what is 1 upon lambda? M e raised to 4 as it is, 8 epsilon 0 square as it is. C and h come here. So it will be c h square into h will become h cube. So you will have c h cube here. Then this bracket as it is, no change. 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square. Now you can observe this bracketed quantity. All the terms in this bracketed quantity are constant. That is m, e, epsilon 0, c, h, all are constant. So you can call this term as r. R is nothing but Rishbard's constant. So this quantity I have called it as r. The bracket as it is 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square. So I got an expression for 1 upon lambda as 1 upon lambda equal to r into bracket 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square. So this is the final expression for wavelength of emitted radiation. So here what is the value of r? R is nothing but m e raised to 4, then 8 epsilon 0 square ch cube. If you put all the constant terms and simplify, the value comes out to be 1.097 into 10 raised to 7 per meter. So in this expression you have to remember that n2 is greater than n1. So this is the final expression for wavelength of emitted radiation. So let us summarize the derivation once again. So we have considered two energy orbits, outer orbit of quantum number n2 and energy En2, and the inner orbit of quantum number n1 and energy En1. When an electron jumps from the outer orbit to the lower orbit, the difference of energy between the two orbits is given out in the form of electromagnetic radiation, and the energy of the emitted photon is given as h nu equals to En2 minus En1 according to Bohr's third postulate. Now we have substituted the values of En2 and En1 and we have simplified. So here we have made one substitution for nu. Nu we have written as c upon lambda. So from this expression we have taken 1 upon lambda on one side. We got the value of 1 upon lambda as m e raised to 4, 8 epsilon 0 square ch cube into bracket 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square. This bracketed quantity is a constant. We call it as capital R. It is called as the Rydberg's constant. So the final expression for the wavelength of emitted radiation is given as 1 upon lambda is equals to R into bracket 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square, where n2 is greater than n1. And the value of Rydberg's constant is 1.097 into 10 raised to 7 per meter. So this is all about the wavelength of radiation emitted when an electron makes a transition from higher energy orbit to the lower energy orbit. So this is all for today's session. Thank you.